Hi, class. So I'm kind of mad at myself right now because I just recorded this entire second half of Act One, and then I realized I never shared the computer sound, so you could not hear the play being read. So that was a bummer. So now I'm recording it again, but you will see a lot of marks already in my textbook. That's because I already marked it up. But if you see anything written in the textbook and anything underlined, then I do want you to write the things that you see. You're also going to notice that my screen right here is bigger. And it is bigger because it took me an entire semester to realize that I could make it bigger while I do Zoom videos. And I'm pretty mad at myself for not figuring that out sooner. But we are on scene 4 from Act 1. And Juliet just learned that her mom wants her to marry Paris. And she's going to go to the ball, the Capulet ball or party, to look at Paris to see if she likes Paris. Romeo and his friends are going to crash the Capulet ball in order to Romeo wants to look at Rosalind, and Benvolio wants Romeo to look at other girls to try to figure out if he can find someone else who is prettier or better than Rosalind. Little does Benvolio know, though, that he is going to find someone better, and it's going to end up pretty bad. So Romeo is going to the ball with his friend Benvolio, or cousin Benvolio, and his best friend Mercutio. Mercutio is a relative of the prince. Just like Paris is a relative of the prince, so is Mercutio. And Mercutio is really the opposite of Romeo. He very much is a pessimistic person and doesn't believe in romance or love. And he's going to have this really long speech where he talks about Queen Mab and this fairy world of dreams, and how that's how lovers get these ideas in their head of being in love. And so he's saying basically he thinks Romeo is crazy because he's so quick to fall in love. Mercutio doesn't understand it. And Benvolio's just kind of there. Benvolio's kind of just this like extra character. He's the peacekeeper, but he doesn't have too much personality to him. All right, so let's listen. We are on page 389, scene 4, act 1, in the street on the way to the Capulet party.
What? Shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology?
The date is out of such prolixity. We'll have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tartar's painted bow of lath, scaring the ladies like a crow-keeper, nor no without-book prologue faintly spoke after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure and be gone.
Hey, give me a torch. I am not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light.
Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance.
Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead. So stakes me to the ground, I cannot move.
You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound.
I am too sore and pierced with his shaft to soar with his light feathers. And so bound, I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink.
And to sink in it should you burden love. Too great oppression for a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn.
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in. A visor for a visor.
Here's a mask, Mercutio.
What care I what curious eye doth quote deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me.
Come, knock and enter, and no sooner in, but every man betake him to his legs.
Yeah. Torch for me. Let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes with their heels. For I am proverbed with a grandsire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Tut! Done's the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art dung, we'll draw thee from the mire of, save your reverence, love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay. We waste our lights in vain, like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that ere once in our 5 wits.
And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamt a dream tonight.
And so did I.
Well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
In bed asleep, while they do dream things true?
Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies athwart men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spinner's legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, her traces of the smallest spider's web. Her collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bones, the lash of film, her wagoner, a small gray-coated gnat, not half so big as a round little worm, pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut made by the joiner squirrel or old grub. Time out of mind, the fairies' coachmakers. And in this state, she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love, or courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream. Which oft the angry Mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit, and sometime comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she driveth o'er a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, embuscados, Spanish blades, of healths 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frighted swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plaits the manes of horses in the night and bakes the elf locks in foul, sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bows. This is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
Peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talks of nothing.
True. I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and, being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south.
This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late.
I fear too early. For my mind misgives some consequence, yet hanging in the stars, shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen! Here!
Okay, let's go back. So this quote right here for Romeo is a very important quote because it's the first place where we see mention of Romeo's fate and his belief in the stars or his belief in fate. And this is saying that he basically had this kind of dream or premonition that something bad was going to happen that night. And he dreamt that he was going to end up dying young or dying early. But yet at the very end of this quote, he says, yeah, but fate drives my course. So we'll just keep going and figure out what happens. So he believes that fate is in charge and that he cannot do anything to stop fate. And it's important to know this because, you know, it will help you understand his motives for later. So Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio, they get to the party. And the next scene is at the Capulets' party. And imagine it on the stage with You have serving men kind of rushing about. You have Capulet talking to the guests as they come in. You have other guests milling about. And so the stage is just filled with different guests. And when it's time for certain people to talk, the other guests kind of pretend like they're silent and they're still talking, but they don't speak audibly. They're just kind of moving their mouths and pretending to talk. And then, so there's different parts of the stage where different people are doing different things to show that this is like a party and a lot's going on. So we're on page 392.
Take fine. Strike drum. Let's in.
Pot-Pat? Where's Pot-Pat that he helps not to take away? He shift a trencher, he scrape a trencher.
Pot-Pan, where's Pot-Pan? Oh, Peter.
In good manners shall lie all in one or two men's hands, and they unwashed too. 'Tis a foul thing.
Away with the joint stools, remove the court cupboard, look to the plate.
Good thou, Peter, save me a piece of marzipan, and as thou loves me, let the porter let in Susan Grindstone and Nell.
Oh, Anthony, and here's Pot-Pan.
Hi, girl. Ready?
You are looked for and called for.
Asked for and sought for
in the great chamber.
We cannot be here and there, too. Cheerly, boys and girls.
Cheerly, cheerly.
Be brisk a while, and the longer liver take all.
Oh, look to the plate, I say.
Look to the plate. Peter, where's Peter?
Ready?
Welcome, masked gentlemen, welcome.
Grace, sir. My lord.
Gentlemen, ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns will have a bout with you. My mistresses, which of you all will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns.
I'll dance, my lord.
Am I come near ye now? Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You're welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play on. A hole, give room. And foot it, girls. More lights, you knaves, and turn the tables up and quench the fire. The room is grown too hot.
Touch the fire.
Fire, the fire! Move the tables back.
More light.
Sirrah, this unlooked-for sport comes well.
Aye, cousin.
Nay, sit. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet. For you and I are past our dancing days. How long is't now since last yourself and I were in a mass?
By your lady, 30 years.
What, man? 'Tis not so much. 'Tis not so much. 'Tis since the nuptial of Lucentio, come Pentecost as quickly as it will, some 25 years. And then we mass.
Oh, 'tis more, 'tis more. His son is elder, sir. His son is 30.
Will you tell me that?
Aye, aye.
His son was but a ward 2 years ago.
Oh, nay, cousin, nay.
Okay, so Capulet and his cousin, his older cousin, were talking to the side, and now Romeo is going to ask a serving man, like, who's that girl over there? And that girl is going to be, of course, Juliet. Well, while Romeo has got his, like, Romeo's on one side of the stage, and then while Romeo's kind of staring at Juliet dancing and creeping on her and just staring at her, Tybalt is over on the other side with Capulet, and he sees Romeo. And remember, Tybalt is the hothead, Juliet's cousin, who always wants to fight, and he is very mad that Romeo's crashed the Capulet party, and he wants to fight Romeo right there and then at the party. But Capulet gets all mad and is like, no way you're not fighting at my party. What would my guests think? That's not civilized thing to do at this party. You're going to embarrass me. So he gets really mad at Tybalt, but Tybalt's like, I don't care what Capulet says. I'm going to fight him later. And he vows to fight Romeo later. And so we're going to see that part. But Romeo really doesn't care. Remember, Romeo's not a fighter. He's a lover. So he's over here just at tunnel vision, just staring at Juliet. And Tybalt's over here like enraged, and Romeo just doesn't care. So that's kind of what's going on right here. We're right here where Romeo's going to talk, and he's going to see Juliet and start talking about her.
Sirrah, what lady's that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
I know not, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. Oh, the measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. But did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
Okay, this line is kind of silly because Romeo sees Juliet and then forgets all about Rosalind. So it's important to underline that, make sure you write what's on the side. And now Tybalt is going to be enraged.
By his voice should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What? Dares the slave come hither, covered with an antic face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Or now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, Tybalt? Wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that is hither come in spite, to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo, masked.
Content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore be patient, take no note of him.
Uncle, how
it
can
is
you...
my will. The which if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What goodman, boy? I say he shall go too. Am I the master here, or you? Go too. You'll not endure him? God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go too. You are a saucy boy. Is so indeed. This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my heart. You are a princox. Go be quiet. More light. For shame, I'll make you quiet. More cheerly, my heart.
Dance, my lord.
I do beseech you.
Patience perforce with willful color meeting makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall.
Tybalt wants to fight Romeo later.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
So Romeo goes over to Juliet and basically has like a pickup line for her, talking about pilgrims and how, their hands pray. And so he puts his hand against hers like they're praying. And then he talks about how, our hands are touching. So that means our lips should be touching. And that's his pickup line for Juliet. It works, though.
Pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips by thine my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
Madam, your mother craves a word with you.
Oh, good sir.
What is her mother?
Married bachelor. Her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and wise and virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talked withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chicks.
Is she a Capulet? Oh dear, Count. My life is my foe's debt.
Romeo, away, begone. The sport is at the best.
Aye, so I fear. The more is my unrest.
Hey, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling foolish dessert towards.
My lord, we'll take our leave.
Is it so? Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here.
Good night, my lord. Good night, my lord.
Good night. Good eve.
Come on, then, let's to bed. Ah, sirrah, by my fay, it waxes late. I'll to my rest.
Come hither, nurse.
My lamb,
What is yonder gentleman?
the son and heir of old Tiberio.
What's he that now is going out of door?
Marry, that, I think, be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there that would not dance?
I know not.
Go ask his name.
I will, my lamb.
If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I learnt even now of one I danced withal.
Juliet? Juliet!
Anon, anon! Come, let's away. Oh, the strangers all are gone.
Okay, so that's the end of Act 1. I want you to underline this line that Juliet says, because even before she learns that Romeo is a Montague, she's already saying, if he's already married this guy, then I'm going to die because I can't live without him. And they really said like 5 things to each other and kissed twice. But she is already very much in love. So we're learning that Juliet is a very much a romantic like Romeo is. And then she learns that he's a Montague. And so Juliet says, oh, my only love sprung from my only hate. And she says this word, prodigious, which means foretelling misfortune. So remember, we're talking about fate. So she's like, oh my gosh, now it's my fate to love my enemy. And again, Romeo says, I see like there's going to be bad fortune later tonight. Juliet now says, oh my gosh, loving Romeo is bad fortune. Instead of both of them just kind of going like, oh, well, I can't be with them, I'll find someone else. They're like, no, we have to be together. That's all that we can do. We can only be together. And so they're very, very much like quick to fall in love. Please do not forget to answer the comprehension check questions. Questions 1 through 4. I will add a 5th to the quiz that you will have in class next week. Thank you for listening and annotating. I will see you in class. Bye.